Con ustedes estamos aquí desde Pasadena con
Elemento Espiritual.
You guys practice that one.
I know.
It's not a group meeting in the back over there. 1, 2, 3 guys, Elemento Espiritual.
cómo nace Elemento Espiritual, ¿no? ¿Cómo se conocieron?
Primeramente fuimos a un campamento de lengua y Sergio estaba en línea para comer lunch.
Oh, no, we together, dude.
Y después mi hermano came up to him and started talking to him, and I'm like, hey, where's my brother? I looked for my brother. I saw him, and they gave me a lot of lotion. And I came up to Sergio, and I'm like, hey bro, you want some lotion? And they just started laughing at me, and I'm like, what's wrong with lotion, you know? And then, we presented ourselves right there. We got to know each other right there.
En ese tiempo, it was funny porque yo también estaba pasando por unas cosas en mi vida, you know, y en ese tiempo yo, aunque iba a la iglesia que iba, yo estaba buscando una iglesia para ir. Yo sentía que Dios me iba a mandar a otro lugar. Y cuando conocí a Edwin me dijo, hey bro, I need your help, you know. I mean, tú tienes buen talento. And I was like, okay. I went and tried it out, and the first night I went, you know, me dijo, hey Serge, you know, I could really use your help. Ese mismo día, you know, Dios me confirmó, quédate, you know. Aquí es donde te necesita, y ahí es donde nos conocimos, and that's kind of where we started with that.
Nosotros nos conocimos hace un año, exactamente agosto del año pasado. Conocí a Sergio, unos meses después, de repente llega y empieza a trabajar en la misma compañía que yo estaba. Y yo no sé, yo siento que era de Dios, que en el campamento nos llevamos bien y todo. Y le dije yo que visitara mi iglesia, ¿verdad? Y nosotros en la iglesia Nazarena de Whittier, estábamos empezando la obra, ya teníamos un año de estar allí. Y le dije a Sergio que me ayudara con el grupo de alabanza.
We were thinking of just becoming a worship team, just something from church. We would never thought that we were going to go outdoors, you know, spread our wings or whatnot. But I mean, God always has his plans.
Ya en noviembre vamos a tener un año de estar juntos como grupo.
We were talking with the guys, you know, we all came up with the name Heaven's Gates, and I was like, man, you know, that sounds like a powerful name. And we went with that name for a good 3 to 4 weeks, and till later we actually went on the internet and looked for our name, and we found out that Heaven's Gates was a cult who actually killed themselves, and the guy that investigated them, his name was Sergio, and I was like, whoa, way too much of a coincidence. So we started thinking of new names. We were looking on the internet, you know, and Edwin came up with a beautiful name called Uriel. I think it was Uriel or something like that, which means heavenly fire or something like that, and it was a Hebrew name. And I was like, well, that's cool, but I was like, let's do an English name or a Spanish name or something, you know. And we're like, well, let's go away from the English because we sing in Spanish. So I came up with the name Elemento Espiritual, and Edwin started talking. He's like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense because elementals, we're all elements, you know, and all in the body of Christ, we all need to be elements for Christ, you know. And just like a body that we are, you know, we have elements inside of us that we need, you know, we are that element. So together we just decided to go with Elemento Espiritual.
Una sociedad debajo de Dios, somos un pueblo unido, somos el cuerpo de Cristo. Una sociedad debajo de Dios, somos un pueblo unido, somos el cuerpo de Cristo. Somos una sociedad.
And I say I have the worst testimony because man, I grew up knowing what the cancer person needed, what the person with AIDS needed, what the cholo needed, what the rocker, the emo kid needed, and I stood quiet. I stood quiet as others died. And I remember there was a time in my life, where I just very, very got stressed out, and my whole family, well, the majority of my family comes from cholos, it comes there's a lot of bandiero stuff in the family, and I started getting into it. I grew up in Gardena, California, and I became a cholo, for a long time, and I think they still think I am. But it was such an anger in me, to grow up the way I did, and feel like I never had a childhood, and I grew up, thinking, being hard, that was all of that. But I realized, what was I fighting for? And I remember one time a pastor came and preached at a church, and really God just started to transform and mold my life right there. God started to change the way I dressed, change the way I talked, change the way that I acted, and God really just molded me out of there. But as I was still in that cholo little stage, want to be the biggest guy in the world, even though I was the shortest, I remember I got jumped by a couple of guys in high school, and right there they said, you can do extracurriculum, and I was like, what do I have to do? They said, go try out for this movie that they're casting for. And I said, really? I said, yeah. And I said, all right, cool, I'll go, whatever, to get out of trouble. And I don't know if you guys seen the movie Freedom Riders, but I was one of the main characters. I came out in the movie. I played Alejandro Santiago, I was the guy with the gun, slick back hair. And I think God right there really wanted to get me, but he didn't really capture me because I didn't pay attention to him. I met a girl there, and this is like I said, this is an embarrassing part of my life, as I would say. I met a girl there, I got her pregnant, and I mean, that moment right there, as soon as I knew that she was pregnant, it just hit me. Sergio, what are you doing with your life? And I think God grabbed my attention right there, and I remember that I always said, my first baby, I wanted to be a little girl. Even if it's a guy, it's cool, But that name that I was going to put for her was going to be Serenity. Because serenity, just to surrender everything, just to be free. That's what she was going to be to me. The girl didn't want to keep the baby. She aborted. It killed me. It just destroyed me. That's when I went to Linwood, and kind of after Linwood, I met these guys, and everything just fell into place. But man, it was a disturbing part of my life, and God took me from cholo to a rock singer, screamer / I don't know what else, and just like to just keep it PG, I'm really, really glad I came back to the feet of God. Because it doesn't matter how far you go out into the world, it just takes one step to turn around and you're right back where you were with God. Because God always has his arms open, and that right there, man, not even the greatest poet in the world could explain the love of God. Not even the greatest poet.
Well, my testimony is I'm barely beginning life. I'm really young. So, well, not really. I'm not a 9-year-old, but
Close.
yeah. Well, I was born in a Christian family, but if I'm born in a Christian family, it doesn't mean I'm saved just like that, because I was born in a Christian family. I mean, it's you and your relationship with God. You have to build that relationship to be strong, so strong, nothing else can break it, you gotta be concentrated on God. But, yeah, just like I said, just because you're in a Christian family doesn't mean you're going to heaven, you're saved. I mean, you need to really want God, you need to really focus on God. You gotta want God, it's just like your daily bread, you gotta have your daily bread, you gotta have it, The way you could get that is by reading the Bible, praying. Praying is another way to talk to God. Praying is like, there's a song that they made in Spanish, get on your knees and dial numbers, something like that. And you talk to God and say his name, say something like that. Yeah.
Jeremías,
Yeah, Jeremías.
7-Eleven.
No, but yeah,